if you are not offering hydroseeding as a service, it likely means that you are leaving money on the table. Hey guys, Tyler with Hydroseeders here. Today I'm going to show you the single most profitable landscaping service you can offer, and that is hydroseeding. A few benefits up front. One, you can do it by yourself. You don't need employees. Two, it's easy to learn. You don't need to go back to school. You can pick this up yourself without any additional classes or anything. And three, there is a ton of work out there, especially in the residential market. First, I'm going to tell you how I got started, from working a full-time job for someone else to working for myself. And then in the second half of the video, I'm going to take you out to a site that we're going to be working. I'm going to hydroseed it and show you how it all works. Started hydroseeding in 2021. At the time, I was working for a local nonprofit full-time, being the sole provider for my family, and was looking for a way to increase our income a little bit, which is sometimes easier said than done. I just knew that I needed to bring home more money. And so I noticed, especially on the commercial side, there was a lot of hydroseeding going on. You'd see trucks all over. However, not a lot of hydroseeding happening on the residential side. And I thought there might be an opportunity there. And so after doing a little bit of research, I figured that would be a decent path forward, trying to earn some more income. And so I pulled the trigger. I did not have a vehicle for it. I had a Toyota Corolla and my wife had a van, and so needed something to be able to haul a little compact hydroseeder. So I ended up getting a truck, and it's actually this truck right back here. It's nothing really all too fancy. It's a 1990 F-250. And it certainly got the job done, and still use it every once in a while. However, I also needed a hydroseeder, so found a little miniature hydroseeder, about 100 gallons. I bought that and put it in the back of the truck, and that is basically how we got started. So once I had the equipment, I started telling people I knew that I was starting this business. I got a couple of jobs here and there. My first one was for my neighbor Jake. He had a shed that he was putting in, and following the moving of that shed, there was a whole bunch of soil around it, and he wanted me to come in and hydroseed it. I remember that I hydroseeded it. It might have taken me an hour or two. I made a couple $100, and the next week the grass was already growing. And I just remember thinking, wow, there might be something to this if I can really start to line up some business. My wife, who's a graphic designer, helped me design our website. It was super basic, just said, "We hydroseed, let us know if you'd like a quote." And we started getting requests for quotes. And soon thereafter started to realize how robust the market was for residential hydroseeding in the Des Moines metro. And so we began to understand, among all of the different options, hydroseeding really fit this certain niche quite well. So one option when homeowners have projects would be broadcast seeding. So maybe they're out there with a hand spreader. Basically, they're broadcasting this seed, but it will usually end up getting washed away, or it won't receive proper moisture, or I've had people tell me it gets eaten by birds. All those not great. It will not lead to a good lawn. Another decent solution is straw net. So broadcast out your seed, staple down a straw net on top of that seed, which holds it in place, protects it from the birds, even gives it a little bit of moisture protection. However, the main thing with that is that homeowners will end up sucking this straw net into their mower for years and years to come, and that's just not a great solution. The other option is sod. That can be ludicrously expensive. Even just this year, I've heard of prices anywhere from $1 to $2 a square foot installed, which is way, way far beyond anything that we would ever charge. And so when we come in there with Hydroseed, sometimes they've already gotten a sod quote, and we are a fraction of the price. It's a no-brainer for these clients. And so sometimes we'll even just get the job on the spot. And this is where Hydroseed comes in. We're charging between 18 and 35 cents per square foot on our projects. Now, sometimes that includes a little bit of dirt work. We're getting in there with a Harley rake or, roughing up the surface because it's been compacted. But the ideal situation for us is going into a site, hydroseeding it, and then moving on to the next site. Let's take, for example, a 6,000 square foot project. It means there's 6,000 square feet of soil that needs to be addressed. It doesn't have grass growing in it, and the client, the homeowner, wants something there after they've finished a project. We'll come in there, we'll quote it at, say, 25 cents a square foot, and the total bill for that project would be $1,500. Something like that, we should be able to complete in a day, and sometimes we'd even be able to complete it in half a day, meaning that we'd be able to group 2 of those projects together. So, if you are a landscaper or someone who's thinking about getting into the field, if you are not offering hydroseeding as a service, it likely means that you are leaving money on the table. First year hydroseeding, still while working a full-time job, I brought in $20,000. This was big money for me, and I was super pleased with it. Just made me hungry for more. And so the second year, I was able to leave my job right before the busy season in the fall and brought in $40,000 that year. So doubled it from the previous year. The third year is where it got interesting. So this is the first year where I was full-time in my own business, hydroseeding for the entire year, and brought in $170,000. So from year 1 to 2 to 3, it was 20, 40, and then $170,000 in, this is gross sales, which works out to about $21,000 a month for the 8 months of the year that I was working. In Iowa, we have some months, unfortunately, where there's not a lot of hydroseeding that goes on, and you might have that in your state as well. But 8 months of the year, about $21,000 in gross sales per month. Also, if you already have a professional network of people in the landscaping and lawn care industry, your trajectory with hydroseeding is going to be a lot quicker and faster than mine was. So keep that in mind too when you're looking at these numbers that I'm telling you. This is from someone who did not have any network or professional contacts, and so this is something that I've had to build up over some time. I think the biggest barrier to people getting into hydroseeding is that they think that it is more difficult than it actually is. They see this big tank and we're pouring all these ingredients in and spraying it on the ground, and I think that they believe that it is a very difficult scientific process. And there are certainly difficult days, and there is science that goes into it. However, learning those things is a lot easier than most people think. I'll show you what I mean. Let's go out to a site and take a look. Okay, just arrived at the client's house. We've got our tank loaded up. We've got maybe a 10 by 20 space to hydroseed today. We're going to charge them about $250 to do that. It should take maybe 10 minutes, give or take, and we should be loading up and driving on to the next one. Okay, so just finished that one up. We have all of our hose coiled up here in the back of the truck. Hydromulcher is almost empty. Didn't even quite use everything in there. Off of half a tank. And yeah, we are heading on to the next one. Not too hard at all. Hey, if this video was valuable to you, and maybe you're considering adding hydroseeding to your business, this might be a channel that you consider subscribing to. this is the sort of content that we're going to do on a regular basis. Basically how to hydroseed, how do you prepare a tank, how do you prepare the soil for hydroseeding, and basically all the success that goes, all the components that will lead to success on a hydroseed job. And ultimately how to make money hydroseeding. And so would love to have you along for the ride, and we'll talk to you next video.